Welcome to the BuyBox Experts podcast. We bring to light the unique opportunities brands face in today's e-commerce world.
Hey, this is Eric Stopper, and welcome to the BuyBox Experts podcast. This episode is brought to you by BuyBox Experts. We take ambitious brands and we make them unbeatable. We've got a team of consultants over here that will identify key low-hanging fruit for some of your best-selling aces on Amazon. So if you are an Amazon seller and you want to make more revenue, then go to buyboxexperts.com, click on the free analysis button, and you'll be connected with me or a member of my team. We are going to start charging for it. It's free right now, so go and click the button before you have to spend a couple $100 to talk with us. Our time is just getting limited, so go and click on that button. Today, we are joined by John Cheney. He is the founder and CEO of Seek, a customer experience company with a flagship product that does web-based augmented reality product visualization. It's a tool that allows customers to view their products in the natural environment around them through their smartphone. In his early years, he ran his own DJ business, a kayaking school, and he put in his time as a door-to-door salesman. He served in several management positions over the past 12 years before starting Seek in 2016. He is a proud husband, a father of four, a pianist, an avid kayaker, and I brought John on the show to show you the future of e-commerce. John, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much. Glad to be here.
So in a nutshell, I tried to give the best introduction possible, but just tell me and the listeners, what is Seek?
Yeah. I mean, you kind of nailed it. Seek is, started out very different than where we are now, and happy to go into that conversation. But we started out as an augmented reality company, and like you said, our flagship product still is around augmented reality and allowing customers to see products in their home, in their life before they buy it. But ultimately, Seek's kind of larger vision is to improve the customer experience. We're actually working on a video right now that's going to be pretty funny. But it's basically showing how shopping hasn't changed. Shopping at home, at least, hasn't really changed much since the 1950s, right? I mean, 1950s, you're sitting there and you've got a catalog and you're looking at pictures and prices and descriptions, and you pick up the phone and you place an order. And today it's not very different. Yeah, you might not be looking through a physical catalog, but you're jumping online and you're looking at a catalog of pictures and prices and text and then pushing order, right? And so that experience has gotten a little bit stale for a lot of people. And so there's a lot of companies trying to figure out, how to bring that to the future. And we believe augmented reality is kind of one of the big first steps that will help us kind of enter that next decade, if you will, of shopping.
Yeah, we'll see if it lasts a decade, because technology is moving fast, right? You guys are going to have to innovate like crazy. Mm-hmm. You said it started a bit different. Originally, it wasn't augmented reality.
Yeah, no, we were augmented reality, but we were a very different approach. At this point, we're a B2B SaaS company, right? I mean, we provide a service that e-commerce companies, retail companies pay us to help enable this technology on their website, in their store, or whatever, to use augmented reality. But we started out as a Pokemon Go spinoff, actually. Instead of going around finding Pokemon out in the world, we said, hey, let's do that a little different. Let's try to make it something that advertisers could use. And so we would have brands pay us to put prizes inside of treasure chests, essentially. And these treasure chests would be all over outside, and you could go around and walk around with your phone, just like in Pokemon Go, and you'd find a treasure chest, open it, and you'd have a chance of winning a prize from some brand or coupons, or
kind of a geocaching augmented reality mashup
kind of thing. You got it.
Right on. So a few stats from your website and from some of the articles. Mm-hmm. Average mobile conversion without augmented reality is about 3.5%. With augmented reality, it increases to 11%. Now, I'm going to let everyone pause and digest that for a second. So think about, specifically you sellers and vendors, right? Think about the numbers that are on your on your business reports, and imagine increasing your conversion rate by, triple, right? You've tripled your conversion rate just by adding augmented reality. That was the only difference across these studies. Can you tell me a little bit about the methodology, where you gathered this data, how you came to those numbers?
Yeah. There's some The numbers are almost too good to be true. I mean,
It
some
seems
people
that
hear
way.
those and they're like, they just dismiss them because like, no way, nothing does that.
That
Right?
was my first thought, I will admit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will qualify it and say that the specific category where you see those types of results is going to be for home furnishings, right? Larger goods, and I would include appliances in that, right? Being able to see how big a TV is on your wall, or being able to see how a couch fits in your living room, or what a new dishwasher might look like in your kitchen. That those are pretty considered purchases that are they're higher ticket. They're going to affect the way that your house and your room looks and what your family's interacting with. They're big decisions. And so, one of the things that I didn't mention and that they didn't mention in these stats is time of consideration, right? A lot of times it takes 7 or 8 visits to a website to say, all right, I've finally decided this is the couch I'm going to buy. I finally decided this is the dishwasher I'm going to buy, right? But when augmented reality is used, that 7 or 8 times is reduced also to 2 or 3 times, right? Because it just answers questions. When you can see something in your space, you immediately know, all right, this fits. This matches my decor. I like the way I like the way I feel when I look at this. I like it. I like everything else about it. It got good reviews, and now all my questions are answered. I'm ready to order it, right? So you're much more likely to order, and then of course, less likely to return it.
What's the breakdown? 7 to 8 down to 3 to 4 interactions with the product?
Yeah, it's 2 to 3, actually.
2 to 3 interactions. So you cut the time, you cut the time in half that it takes somebody to buy that, to actually make a purchase decision. Wow.
Yeah, you got it.
Man, that is remarkable. Did you test the difference between demographics? Did you test male and female and age and how they respond to these kinds of things?
Not yet. We haven't dug that deep, partly because, and maybe largely because, we don't capture that data.
Sure. Amazon hides it from you too.
Yeah, we just don't want to get involved with GDPR and all that stuff. And so we purposefully stay far enough away that we don't really know.
Sure.
Now, it's possible that a brand that has really good accounts and things like that would be able to know it for themselves. But we haven't asked any specific brands to tell us that or share that information with us yet. But we have, our system is able to hook into, whether it's Magento or Google Analytics or whatever to tie our system and functions and everything and all that data into their own data. And so if they have data on who's purchasing what, then they could potentially do that. But I would be interested too. It's something that we've wondered about, but right now it's just generalized. We know that it makes a big impact across the board.
Okay. So that makes a lot of sense to me. Now I'm thinking we deal with clients who have tens of thousands of SKUs.
Yep.
Right. And the amount of 3D renderings they have for those are typically maybe 1 per parent product, right? Which is still even great. Like that would be an excellent situation. How in the world would somebody wanting to use Seek be able to manage such a huge SKU load for their business?
It depends on what type of business you are. If you're a retailer, let's say like Target or Overstock's a good example of one of our real customers. They don't manufacture any products. They just sell other people's products, right? And so they put the onus on the suppliers to say, hey, look, here are the benefits. We're seeing massive increases in sales conversion, massive decreases in return rate, better customer experience across the board. If you want customers on Overstock to experience that with your product, then send us 3D models. And so each of the suppliers then is able to do that. But what Overstock ran into specifically with this problem was each of these suppliers was sending over 3D models and they were in 100 different formats. And some were compressed, some were not, some had textures, some were inverted, and some were just, almost every single company was sending a different style. And so it was a very manual process for Overstock to go in and manually look at every single model, decide whether or not this was good to go, compress it, open it in another program, do some things on it to improve the textures and whatever they had to do. It was about a 2 to 3 hour process per model. And where Seek comes in, some of the behind the scenes stuff that you don't really know that we're doing if you just glance at our website, is we have proprietary technology that takes in content, 3D content at scale, standardizes it, and spits it out the other end ready to go. So we could take 20,000 3D files that are all non-standardized and coming in different formats, and literally just push a button and wake up the next morning and they're ready to be installed on the website.
So you said that you're positioned mostly for like selling to businesses like Overstock, but I'm an Amazon seller, right? I've got 5 product lines that I sell myself. How do I get my files into Seek? How do I make it so that when somebody goes to my Amazon page, they can see my products projected in front of them using their phone?
Yeah, we don't work directly with Amazon on that function yet. They are one of the compatibilities that we're adding this year.
Okay.
But most of these sellers also have their own websites, and so we would be able to assist with getting it installed directly on the website. You know, that's a big thing that we do. It's appless. It works right on your website. You don't have to maintain additional platforms. But let's say you sell wallets, right? And you have 15 products. You could send Seek pictures of those products. We can create 3D models of them and get them installed and up and running, and eventually provide the same files that Amazon will need to have it active on their Amazon listing.
Can you project like lighting differences, shine and shimmer and stuff like that on your 3D models?
Absolutely, yeah. So there's a couple things that we can do there. One, we can affect how reflective different surfaces are, how much they look like plastic, how much they look like metal, and we have all kinds of neat settings that 3D models can have, and that's texture by texture, piece by piece. We can modify that. You could show like alligator skin, and it would look like that and reflect like that. But then the viewers themselves, that when you're seeing it on the phone, actually measure your ambient light. Right. So if it's really bright outside, or if it's dusk, or if you have pink light around you for some reason, right, it's going to actually apply the hues that it detects in your environment to your product so that it looks very natural.
Do you have to have a certain level of phone in order for it to do that? A certain platform?
Any phone beyond an iPhone 6 will do it on the iPhone side. Really any phone in the last 4 or 5 years is going to be pretty good.
That's incredible. So back to like how someone like me, like I got my website and I want augmented reality on there. I don't have 3D models for some of my products. And so where would you point me, right? I want Seek, therefore I have to do X, Y, and Z before I can get there.
You send us your product pages, and your product pages typically have pictures of the product as well as dimensions of the product. That's all we need to make a 3D model, right?
So you guys will actually make it?
Yeah, we can make it as well.
So you have like a group of mechanical engineers over there generating CAD files, or how do you infrastructure work?
Yeah, so it's not quite. We don't have to go all the way back to the CAD level. Now, if you are a company that has CAD files of your products and CAD designs, send us those.
Yeah, it's like best case scenario.
That's awesome. Now we can use those. We can convert them into the right things, and it takes some work, but it can be done. But yeah, we have 3D modelers that I would compare them to clay sculptors, right? That are just doing it in 3D digitally, right? They're taking a ball, starting with that and saying, all right, we need to make a couch. So let's make something that's long, and then let's start working on the arms. And they're artists really. And they create those products, and it's unbelievable. Like you can put the product right next to the real thing, and you're like, that looks exactly the same, right?
Well, so I want to talk about the elephant in the augmented reality room. In one of your articles, there was a great quote that I got out of it. Simply, if you want to keep from falling behind, you got to focus on getting ahead. Amazon, right? You said that you're working on an integration on their platform this year. What's to keep them from coming in and just making their own tool and just totally pushing you guys out of the way? What kind of secret sauce do you have in the works to keep that from happening?
Yeah, that's a good question. We're always trying to stay in the lead, and I can tell you about another conversation I had with Google today in a bit. But with Amazon specifically, they only do it in their app right now, right? So we're already ahead. We can do it in an app. That's easy. Anyone can do it in an app. I could show you 100 companies that can help you see an augmented reality product in your app. But companies that are able to deploy content on the web, cross-platform, so that these little companies don't have to build an app for themselves, right? We can make it work everywhere. For Overstock, we provide all of the services for mobile web, for desktop 3D view, for their iOS app, their Android app, right? It all just runs through our same system. So we have the largest, that kind of the widest compatibility matrix, right, out there. Most of these other brands are or companies that do have AR, IKEA, Wayfair, Amazon, and I could go down the list. There's a lot of great companies that have built some good AR experiences, but they're all in the app, and we're doing it all on the web, which becomes much more accessible. Let me tell you one more stat there. Overstock, what do you think? What percentage of their traffic do you think comes through their app versus their website?
Oh, I would say probably 80-20, maybe even 90-10.
Yeah, it's closer to 90-10.
Okay. So
they've got this cool AR thing in their app, which they had before we came along, and it's getting crazy results, right? They're tripling their conversion rates. I mean, it's amazing the numbers that they're getting. And so, but only 10% of their traffic is seeing it, right? Or actually it's a little less than that. But so over 90% now added into their funnel, right? And we're making a huge impact, right? Now 100% of their users can see their products in augmented reality.
Well, so help me understand this though. I'm on a computer and I'm searching on Overstock, and then I see this little seek button, or there's a little thing that I can interact with that allows me to see something projected into augmented reality. Does it then route it to my phone so that I can move over to the spot in my living room, or do I have to view it through my desktop?
Yeah, no, it's happening. The augmented reality component has to happen on a device that has a camera, right, and a screen, right? And so theoretically, yeah, you could do it through a laptop and using the webcam and whatever, but that's not a great experience because you have to like get out of the way. I mean, it's just weird, right? The best device that we have right now is a phone, right? The phone is going to let you to very naturally, view something in front of you with the camera being right there. The best case scenario is the future, which we can talk about in a minute also, is glasses, right? Augmented reality glasses. And that's coming. But if you're on a desktop, you'll see a 3D view of it, and you'll be able to spin it around in just a nice 3D view and zoom in and out on it. But then you can click view in augmented reality, and what it will do is bring up a QR code, right? Okay. And then that QR code, you can just scan it, and it pops right over.
Project it over. Okay, before we get to the glasses, I understand you went to CES this year, and I want to pick your brain about some of that, but Snapchat, right? Snapchat has this amazing virtual augmented reality, the keys to the kingdom in terms of changing your face, changing your environment around you. Is that something that Seek is looking to get into? For instance, the reason I ask is because I sell headphones or like earplugs that attach to your glasses. And so they attach and you can plug them right in, and it's for like construction workers and people that work in aviation.
Yeah.
So are we going that direction where somebody could open up their face camera and be able to project the product onto their person?
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're working on that stage by stage. This year, we will release products that will serve the face, feet, and hands, right? So you'll be able to try a ring on, right? You'll be able to try a watch on. You'll be able to try glasses on. You'll be able to try a hat on. You'll be able to try shoes on. You'll be able to do all of that through a web-based interaction.
Wait, so hold on a second. I'm scrolling on Instagram or TikTok even. I would love to get your thoughts on TikTok as well, but I'm scrolling through Instagram. Is there ever going to be a situation where the ad that's served up to me is literally just a video of me wearing the product that the advertisement is in?
You got it.
How do we get there? What's in the way of getting to that point?
Almost nothing is in the way at this point, right? When you're in an app especially, you have a lot more freedom and power to use some of the face tracking and things like that Instagram or Snapchat and these people use. Instagram could deliver that today. I mean, you can get into Instagram right now and turn on a filter that'll put glasses on you, right? Now you just have to make sure those glasses are branded. Right? The technology is there today.
Why am I not getting ads served up that project the products onto me?
You are, but you might not. You just might not feel like it, which means Snapchat and Instagram, they're doing a good job. But if you get into Snapchat right now, a lot of those filters are sponsored, right?
Really? I guess there's a little indicator
like
under
Coca-Cola, or whatever. But they're just cool things, and you're pushing out somebody else's brand. But literally, if you open Snapchat right now and just scroll through all the different things, or Instagram right now, you're going to see brands on there. You're going to see content that, like Stranger Things. That's a great example. I don't know if you ever did the Stranger Things.
I did. So fun. Yeah.
Right? But that's an advertisement.
Yeah.
Right? That's it.
So in our space, in advertisements, this is like our dream, right? We want all this data. We want to be able to interact with you and put clothes on you and put glasses on you and whatever we can, right? Are people generally, the population, kind of concerned about this almost guerrilla advertising inside of their app, or are people pretty open to it and they haven't really brought up any concerns with you and your team?
There's definitely privacy concerns. Anytime you have your camera being opened, right, you're like, man, who's recording this? Who's seeing this? I can tell you this from the way that Seek does it, just like we don't know if you're a male or a female or where you are or anything like that. We don't see that feed, right? All we know is that you have accessed a 3D file and we've thrown it into your camera feed, but we can't see that. And any company that's recording that would definitely be violating all kinds of privacy issues.
Sure, that's good to know.
I hope nobody is doing that. I mean, I know that, if you record something on Instagram and you post it, that now it's out there. But from our standpoint, we're providing a blind technology that just lets you use it how you want, but we're not looking at any sort of additional things. Now, when you get into like Google glasses, Apple glasses, Facebook glasses, all these things where people are now going to be going around with glasses on their face constantly with a camera scanning the environment, right? I literally won't be able to walk up to you without my phone being like, hey, that's Eric.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's going to recognize you from your LinkedIn picture or your Facebook profile, and you're going to be on my friends list. And so, there's some real privacy issues. And so that's a lot of what these companies, it's not just the hardware and that, but there's legalities and privacy issues that people are going to have to be comfortable with when Tim Cook stands up on the stage and says, all right, here we go, guys. We did the watch, we brought you the phone, and now here's the glasses.
The teeth.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to do it all eventually, right? We're going to be bionic Apple humans, right?
I hope so. I
don't mind. Like I love the products. I love the future and the advancement of combining, our biology with electronics and seeing how we can get more out of the world. But that's where the privacy is really going to start to hit.
That makes a lot of sense. Can Alexa Show do this yet? Can I
Not
say,
quite.
Alexa, show me the best-selling blue light filtering glasses on Amazon, and then it just like boom throws them on me, and I can see myself? Not yet.
It's not capable yet. The reason cameras on the phones are the only ones that can do them yet is because they have crazy, scanning, like the face scanning, Face ID stuff on the iPhone. Right, there's an amazing number of sensors that are. They like create a dot matrix of your face with the iPhone to make Face ID work. And so it's those same measurements that we're able to take to say, hey, what do these glasses look like? And little cheap devices like an Echo Show don't have those types of sensors.
Can you, I look at my mirror, right? I'm shopping and I say, that shirt looks pretty cool, or those pants look pretty cool. Can I look at myself like this as a selfie? Can I go to my mirror and take a video, like open my camera and look at my mirror and it projects the clothing onto me? Or are we a few months or years away from that capability? We're
a couple years away. There's a couple issues with that. One of them is sizing, right? Mm-hmm. It's one thing to show a shirt on somebody, but are we actually measuring what that looks like? The style of 3D model is going to have to be very different because it's going to have to be a dynamic model that folds to your curves, and bends to your curves. And that there's a lot of really technical things there. So the first issue is the cameras that we have on our phones aren't that accurate yet, right? Okay. They can detect essentially a stick figure pose right now.
Sure. Almost like a video game hitbox for shoot 'em ups.
You got it. So literally it's like, oh, that's the torso, there are the arms, there are the legs. It sometimes doesn't even know, like it might think you're bending your elbow a way that's unnatural,
Sure. I think we've all seen kind of how virtual reality does that.
You got it. Yeah. So that's kind of all we're able to see right now with a mobile device, and we can only do it at about 10 frames per second. So it's choppy and bumpy. So I think 3 years from now, we'll see good full body clothes try on through a phone and hopefully through glasses.
A lot of that's going to fall on the shoulders of the manufacturers of the products to be able to determine like radius and fit and all that kind of stuff on an actual piece of clothing.
It's going to require a lot of collaboration, right? It's going to require the phone manufacturers providing the right sensors, and then it's going to require the clothes manufacturers providing accurate measurements, right? A large from Nike is different than a large at Abercrombie.
Yeah.
Is Abercrombie still a thing? I don't know.
They are.
Okay,
they're
awesome.
doing
Cool.
all right.
But they're definitely a tighter fit versus Nike,
Sure.
which is a very athletic fit and looser. And so, you can't just be like, oh, this is what a large shirt looks like, right? Each brand is going to have to provide very precise measurements. Where they're going to have to provide data on what the clothing is made of, so that the computer can then say, all right, if it's 80% nylon and 20% cotton, then this
Probably
is how
fits like this. Yeah.
like there's a lot of coordination that's going to have to happen. And so I think that the very first implementations are going to be 3 years from now, but it's not going to be, fully implemented and really trustworthy for some time, maybe a decade.
If you're listening to this, any of our fans, and you already have something that can help John out creating this, please reach out to him, because let's beat 3 years. Come on, we're moving faster than that with recursive learning. So retail, we can't ignore the impact that this is going to have on retail. In an ideal world, right? We've been using mannequins since forever ago, and that's the worst, right? What are they doing? They even have like pictures of people wearing the products. I don't care. I want to see it on me. So ideally, they have these augmented reality systems built into their stores. When I'm walking by their window, they should have a big TV screen that scans me and fits me into their clothing.
Mm-hmm. I saw that at CES.
Tell me about it.
It was awesome. I don't want to give credit to the wrong person, but I think it was LG.
Man, LG and Samsung and all these guys are just swinging for the fences.
They are.
I think Samsung's the one that had the glasses this year that was just like out of this world.
Yeah. And they're getting better. Everything's getting better. It still needs, a couple more years for Moore's law to catch up and give them the power, the processing power that they need, that's in a small enough form factor to work well at scale. But in store, so at LG, there was a booth, right? You walk in, it was kind of like a booth, a try-on booth, kind of like where you would get, measured it for a suit or something, or a dress. And I had to, stand on a thing that was actually a scale. So it weighed me. And then there were like 7 cameras that were scanning me and looking at me. I had to stare ahead and for about 5 seconds. And then it's like, okay, I now know you're, 5'9" and you're 175 pounds or whatever it is. Like, it tells me all of my.
Did they give you your avatar? Is that like a piece of data that lives now with you? Man, I want that.
Yes, it was a throwaway one. They didn't actually save it, but I was able to take it then and then go and sit down and use one of their apps. So they had a phone there that would load up the data that I just got from that, and then I could try clothes on, just by tapping on it, and it would put it on my avatar, right? And it was pretty accurate, right? It added maybe 2 inches to my waist. Maybe I had just eaten a big meal or something, but but it was pretty good, right? I was able to see, okay, this is what this jacket would look like on me, and they only had about maybe 16 products in total that you could try on, probably per gender, which means they had gone through the painstaking process of doing everything I just talked about,
right?
And making sure, all right, do we have all the data for these few pieces of clothing, and can we make this work? So even for a big company with a fairly significant budget, they had to use a massive in-store processor and computer to do it. And then they only were able to do it for a very few select number of products that were pre-configured and set up and ready to do this. And so again, to do it at scale is going to take a lot of time. And then to do it on a mobile device is going to be a few years as well.
Do you think that these scanning booths, because there's actually, there's one in Orem, Utah that I got to go into. These guys were essentially creating, they were doing augmented reality. Like, you could create a wedding invitation and you could like project the couple onto this invitation, and they were like telling you to come to their party. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, cool.
Do you think that these booths are going to start popping up everywhere so that we can start scanning ourselves to make it easier for these companies to project clothing onto us?
Yes, I do. I would like them to pop up too, right? And not only for the purpose of scanning myself and making a little cool statue of me, but for products as well, right? I mean, what if we just had scanning booths where companies could just bring their products in, or if it's portable enough, take the scanning technology to a warehouse or something and just scan, because I'd much rather scan a project or a product, right? Than having to have my artists create a 3D, imposition. But right now it costs us, a couple $100, maybe $300 to create a 3D model from scratch. Whereas a scan right now at scale, especially with larger objects, is probably $500 to $1,000 per scan to get it done at the right level of detail that you would need to be able to use it in an e-commerce setting. So yeah, I would like more and more of these to say, I want that to be commoditized, because that will drop the price substantially and increase the amount of 3D content that needs somewhere to live. And that makes Seek more valuable because we host 3D content.
Go and get yourself scanned. If you're listening to this, find someone that has a scanner, unless you're terrified about that kind of stuff. So if I am a retail giant and I see e-commerce growing, and right, it stands to reason that the better e-commerce gets, the more products will be purchased, but also the more people will start tending to buy those products on e-commerce.
Yep.
Is augmented reality a threat to the JCPenney's and the H&M's of the world?
If those stores don't innovate and they keep their style, if they keep selling clothes the same way they have in the last 30 years, then yeah.
Definitely.
Then they're going to fall, and we see retail companies falling every single day. An interesting stat: about 9% of products purchased in store are returned. About 30, depending on the product, it's anywhere from 15 to 40%. Really,
online
are returned online, right? Overall, the average is 30% online. There will be $1 trillion of products returned in 2020. And so that's a huge waste. There's so much money lost, so much market cap lost due to returns. And so that means that the in-store experience still is substantially better, because people are able to go there and get what they want right then and there. Which is really cool, but they're going to have to make shopping an experience. There has to be a reason that you're going to go through if I want to get to Best Buy, it's 20 minutes for me, right? That's not bad, right? If you consider, the past, to drive 20 minutes to get to Best Buy and buy a TV and have a good experience and have the Geek Squad there to answer a question for me, it's awesome, right? I can deal with it, but that's 40 minutes just driving and probably 30, 40 minutes in store. So we're talking an hour and a half of my day when I could just jump on Amazon and be like, top TVs at 55 inches.
Boom, augmented reality on my wall.
Yeah, it's done. I've shopped for it. I found my answer. Let me see that. Yep, that is the size I want. No, maybe that's too small. 65. Perfect. Order. It's done.
Is augmented? Have you seen that the use of AR decreases return rates?
Absolutely, by about 25%.
Holy smokes, 25%. Of the 40% that are returned. So, I mean, we're talking about $250 billion saved if people adopt.
100%, if we had 100% penetration, then just augmented reality alone will save the world $250 billion.
I mean, I want to see some studies. I'm a data nerd, so I want to dig into the details, but maybe not our listeners for this time around. Now, Seek is a customer experience company project, right? This kind of new coalition. What's on the horizon? Tell me what's new. Tell me what you guys are coming out with beyond the augmented reality projected products.
Yeah. So there's different types of trackers that I talked about, hand, face, foot, stuff like that. That's going to, ultimately we want people to be able to visualize really well. The next step is being able to talk to your shopping experience and have it be very natural. So, but also having augmented reality in there as well, right? So it could be as simple as, and this is going to be especially important, and not even just important, but required as soon as glasses are a thing, right? So let's say you're wearing your Apple glasses and you walk into your living room and you say, okay, Overstock, I need a new couch, right? So you look around and Overstock says, great, let me see your room. So you look around and you just, you let Overstock scan it. And so what it's going to do there is it's going to use visual search and AI to understand what your room looks like right now. What colors are you using? Are you using hard edges, soft edges? Do you have blinds? Do you have paintings on the wall? Like, what's going on? It's going to try to figure out who you are and what your style is and what you're looking for. And so Overstock says, okay, hey, here are a few recommendations, right? And so it then has to be able to do a visual search and understand its inventory and be able to check out, what's going to look good here, or maybe what's something that's a little edgy that might start pushing them in a different direction, And so you can, but being able to have the Overstock, room building experience understand your needs and be able to work with you is going to require AI, visual search, augmented reality, natural language processing, and all of those things working hand in hand, or in tandem really, to say, okay, we think you're going to like this couch. What do you think? And you say, no, show me something else. Okay, I like that one. Show me that in brown leather. Okay, that's good. Change the configuration to this way, right? Okay, that fits. That looks good. Okay, go ahead and ship that to me, Overstock. Oof. Right? And so that type of an experience is how you will shop in the future. I don't know if that's 5 years or 10 years or 15 years from now, but you will absolutely be going through those types of experiences. And so Seek is working on some of that. Another example of customer experience stuff that we're using that we can use 3D and augmented reality for is, I can't share who it is, but there's a big company that has retail stores, and they want to be able to more quickly iterate on the store itself and say, what if we moved this aisle over here? What if we moved these products to this side of the aisle? What if we did this? And right now that's a very physical manual process. They have demo stores where the VP will go down and say, all right, let's move this around. And then the workers will get to work and say, all right, come back in a few days and we'll have it ready for you. And so it can be a several week or several month process to get to a new store design, or to a new layout, or to test what something's going to look like, or to test flow. And so, they came to us and said, hey, can you just build us a huge video wall that our VP can just stand in front of, and, using hand gestures or swiping or an iPad as a controller, can we change the entire store right here live using the same types of assets that we're creating, and then be able to just send a floor plan that's approved in hours instead of days or weeks or months.
I've always thought, like, I'm a DIYer, I'm a builder, studied engineering. I walk into Home Depot, right? Mm-hmm. And the one thing that I can never find in Home Depot is anybody that works there, right? So
for sure,
I've always wanted to just be able to say, like, hey, Home Depot app, take me to the wood screws, and then it augment reality, like, paints a path.
It does that.
It does that now?
It does that now. Home Depot is one of the companies that is really ahead in this space. And at least in some stores, it will do that exact thing. It will show a drawn arrow, and you just follow the arrow, and it'll take you right to the product.
Oh my goodness, I love the future. So this is
there.
So you guys are, the present. I love the present. So so that's one of the products that you're working on is the integration with these glasses. What else, right? Are you targeting other industries outside of kind of products and retail? Are you targeting education, for instance, right? Like, I want to put the best teachers statistically in front of my inner city kids who may not have access to a teacher that's paid enough. What if everybody can throw on some glasses and the teacher has some glasses and can interact with these students? Like, yep. Are you tackling stuff like that?
So what you're talking about is a little bit like a telecommuting type thing, almost, just a little more advanced, right? What I would like to see in that regard, if you really want to have visiting teachers that are doing things, let's do a hologram, right? Let's actually project them in the room and let them be there. And now you have the best teacher in the world that knows how to teach, algebra, some concept really, really well, and they can do it for millions of people simultaneously or potentially on demand, right? That's pretty dang cool. We are actually launching a Seek education product this year that isn't doing that specifically. It's maybe a few steps back from it, but I think equally as useful. I don't know if you remember, I know that I hated science. Science was not my thing, right? Mm-hmm. Loved math, was good at English, was good at everything. And just science just never really was super exciting to me. Now it's actually really exciting. I'd love to be a doctor. I've watched enough Grey's Anatomy episodes. I think I can perform the surgery and do all right, get most of the way there. But learning about like the cell right? And the nucleus, and being able, if I could have seen that in front of me in space, right? And so that I could spin it around and look at it and go inside it and be like, okay, that's where this thing is. And that's where this thing is. And whoa, the nucleus really is that big in comparison to everything else. And, you know, whatever, right? Like being able to visualize the human skeleton, the solar system, dinosaur bones, whatever, right in front of you, as if you had, you know, models of all of those things, right? Any student or teacher or parent or anybody for a few bucks a month is going to be able to essentially subscribe. Think about almost like Netflix for augmented reality education, right? You'll pay a few bucks a month and you'll have access to thousands of different models of all types of different things that will let you engage with the world in a little bit different way and engage with learning for, you know, hey, let's see what the pyramids looked like. How big were they? And literally you can spawn that and push it out on, you can walk outside and say, there's the Great Pyramid. That's how big it is, right? I mean, you could show something like that, and you could show something as small as a hydrogen bond, right? You know, in front of you, and be able to manipulate it, play with it, and understand how it's actually structurally built.
And then eventually, here's, you know, the teacher says, here's a hologram of Charles Darwin to come and explain his theory of evolution. And Charles Darwin walks in and teaches these kids.
So I have to mention one thing I saw at CES about that. There was this company, I should tell you what it's called. If I can find it right here on my phone while I'm talking about it. But it was basically a projection. Yeah, here it is. And I wish, again, this is a podcast, so I can't really show it, but it was a projection of a person that was not real, but that looks so real, you can't even tell the difference that it's not a real person. If you could see that, Eric, that's a video that I took at CES, and these are fake people that don't exist. They were just you know, invented, but when you look at them, you cannot tell that they're not a real person. And so because of that, if we have paintings and things of what Christopher Columbus looked like, we could have him walk in the room and tell us about his voyage across the sea.
I did a project in fourth grade where it was like a wax museum where I played Francis Scott Key, right? The writer of the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah, yeah.
And I sat there frozen, and someone would have to come and touch me, and then I'd give the spiel. I imagine a world where in fourth grade, my kid is able to go and generate a Francis Scott Key, you know, augmented reality hologram for everybody for his school project.
Yeah.
I think, and for everybody listening, right, like, and especially for those who are really concerned about privacy and all these kinds of things, just visualize the future for a second and understand the far-reaching implications of what this will mean for our kids and for our society as a whole. There was a great article, and I'll shamelessly point people to the seekxr.com. I believe is your website. But there's an article in there where you talk about how augmented reality it can benefit our impact on the planet, and how not going to Best Buy for an hour and a half essentially cuts down the fumes that you would have spent on your vehicle, right, to go and make that drive and everything. And so the impact of all of these things is so much greater than just the fact that we can sell more products to people. It's going to impact our society in ways that we cannot even imagine. And it sounds like you're on the forefront of that.
I mean, if we could reduce returns by 25% across the board, do you know where most of those product returns go to?
Hopefully not the trash.
Yeah, landfill. Most of it goes to landfill, right? There's a huge amount of products that can't sell again. It's been open, it's been broken. People don't want to buy something that's been touched and messed with. And so they're just like, you know, it's $40 for us to create a new one, and it's $60 for us to manage, you know,
getting it back,
it back to shape where we can sell it again. So toss it. Right. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it should go to charity or something.
Right. Yeah. Donate it to just a pool.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, there's got to be better ways to deal with that from that perspective, but reducing that waste and going back and forth. Like I talk to people all the time where I'm talking about this. And I'm like, yeah, if I don't know which TV I want, I'll just buy both of them and I'll return one. right? And so,
Oh.
talk about impacting the planet. If you want to take that approach, yeah, now we have 2 delivery guys that are gonna have to deal with the system, and that second TV literally might end up in landfill. It might be broken in transit because you didn't pack it up right, and the store is going to lose money now trying to get back their margins on it. Whatever, right? The point is, it's there's major impacts on the world for these technologies.
Yeah, I mean, I think let me do a return and then allocate 50% of what I spent on the product to my charitable contributions for the year for my taxes, right? Like, make it a benefit for everybody involved. Incentivize, like donate to charity return, or, send it back to the person return. Like we should have a choice in that. John, where do I send people to get involved, to get in contact with you, to help steer the future forward?
Yeah, no, if they want to reach out to me directly, they're welcome to. They can email me at Jon at seekxr.com. Or they can go directly to seekxr.com and get in touch with somebody, whether that's me or some sales rep that might end up getting a lead on there. It should be pretty obvious. I think we have enough contact us buttons to fill a screen. So you should be able to get in contact with us. But again, if you have some question directed for me, feel free to reach out directly.
Awesome, John. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the BuyBox Experts podcast. Be sure to click subscribe, check us out on the web, and we'll see you next time.